what's up my spooky family? It's me, TaySpooky, and today we're going to make a video talking about, it's going to be kind of like a two-part video. This video, which will be sleep paralysis and night terrors. The other video will be about shadow people. And if you already know, shadow people, night terrors, and sleep paralysis kind of go hand in hand in the spiritual aspect. So this video will be about sleep paralysis and night terrors, which is something that I get often. This is my little witch altar. So I got my real crystal ball, fake crystal ball, some stuff. All my tarot cards are up here, some sage. And I got these candles, and I know in the video it looks like I'm really close to them and that my hair is gonna catch on fire, but it's not, I promise. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, become a part of the spooky family, and give this video a like if it spooks you. And after the video, leave a comment about your sleep paralysis or night terror experiences because they can be terrifying. If you're interested, what's on my shirt? It is a shirt custom made for one of our good friends. Her name is Teresa. Our friend Teresa was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer, and she had to get a complete, total mastectomy and has decided to get implants in place. So we're doing a bunch of fundraisers. If you want to go ahead and donate, she has a GoFundMe. You can go look at the link down below. Without further ado, night terrors are the worst. If you've ever had night terrors, you know that night terrors are just like downright frightening. I've been having night terrors a lot this week. It's only Wednesday. I've been really anxious this week, so it's just been happening. It's not new to me. I'm entirely used to it. But what has been happening is way different than what usually happens. Let me just start by saying my normal night terrors, which I'm gonna assume I posted my video about my paranormal experiences, is the cause for why at one point in time I would do really weird things and act out really weird things while I was sleeping. I would wake up terrified, heart beating, like sweaty, and I would like dart somewhere. So I kind of grouped that in with night terrors, and that is the only time I've ever acted out with my night terrors, because some people, they can do like a sleepwalking, some people have to be restrained. It's just freaking wild. Usually I just wake up from them. I do not remember, like 99% of them I don't remember, and usually accompanying my night terrors will be sleep paralysis. So sleep paralysis is whenever you wake up in the middle of the night or the middle of whenever you're sleeping and you are still in a dreaming state, but you're awake. So you're awake, but your mind can still make things look like that things are there when they're not there. It's the scariest thing ever. First time this ever happened to me, it's only happened to me in this house, which is weird because like I've had night terrors, but I haven't had sleep paralysis till I moved here. The first time it happened, I was laying in my bed, which it was actually this room. They were all in this room. I opened my eyes. There's nothing over here but my door. And when I opened my eyes, there was a figure standing there. And I looked at it and I stared at it for what felt like 10 minutes, but it was realistically probably like 1 or 2 minutes. So I was staring at this figure standing in my doorway, and it was a male figure. I do not recall if he had a hat, but we'll talk about the shadow people and the hat man in the shadow people video. I don't recall what he was wearing. I just recall a male figure standing there. He's tall, he's big. The first time, and then, I mean, usually people who experience sleep paralysis just fall back asleep, and I think that's wild, because can you imagine just falling back asleep after being scared out of your mind? Well, we do it. I don't know how, but we do it. Saw this male figure right here, and I went back to sleep. I then saw, like a little more to the left, I saw this really tall, skinny, not the same as the first one, skinny male figure. Kind of like Slenderman built, just like really tall and lanky. And then I saw that, went back to sleep. It was really scary. And like, I remember them when I wake up. The third time, which I'm gonna say is the scariest time, I woke up and on the corner of my room way over there, I saw an alien standing in the corner of my room. And it was like a gray, like a regular gray, standing there, and it was the most terrifying sleep paralysis episode I've ever had. I don't know what triggers you guys, but for me, it's freaking aliens. After you look at it for a little bit, it's so weird because you sit there and you stare at it and you just stare at it, and like in your mind, you're just thinking, what is that? What is that in the corner of my room? But like, you can't move, you can't do anything. So eventually, for me, my experience, eventually I will like stare at it like really intensely, and then I'll blink a little bit and I'll like stare at it for maybe 2 minutes, and then it won't be that distorted looking figure anymore. Just like all of a sudden it's normal and you're like, well, how was I seeing that? The fourth experience I had, and this is all in a span of I think 3 years, 2 or 3 years. The fourth one was a woman standing where the man was standing. That was about it on that one. Went back to sleep. The fifth one was 2 figures, and it was way different than the other ones. So one was because these figures, they had an immense amount of detail on them. Like, they weren't just shadow people looking. They were like detailed, like you could see them. There was an old man standing right here, and you could see like his wrinkles, and you could see he was dressed. I don't really remember what they were dressed in. I don't think they were dressed in like old attire. I think they were dressed normal, like maybe 20 years ago, old people style. I don't know, but yeah, there's an old man standing by my door right here, and he looked really irritated and really angry, but not extremely threatening. He was standing over here by my door where I will see most of my figures, and then simultaneously I'm laying in my bed and I'm facing this way because my bed's right here, so I'm facing this way, and standing like literally right here where I'm recording, she was like crouched down. It was an old lady, wrinkles, looked like she was married to this man. Like, they looked like they were a couple, and she was crouched down, and she was staring into my face. It was really weird because I noticed the old man first, which was by the door. I mean, you would think you would notice the one in front of your face first, which makes me think maybe she came a little bit after I noticed the man. But the man was there, and then maybe like 10 seconds later, this old lady was standing with her face in my face, and I really don't want to say she was threatening though. She was in my face, and like I could see all the details in her face, and she just looked irritated and annoyed. I just sat there and I stared at them and until they just went away. So that one was different compared to the others, and it was very interesting in the fact that it wasn't shadow people. It was like very, very much like an apparition type of thing. The smell was getting intense, so I blew out the candles. The situation, it's a floating shelf from IKEA. It's huge. It covers like more than half of my wall, and I have plants all over it. I just have all these big plants on it staggered by each other. It's just like covered in a bunch of knickknacks and plants because I love plants. Lately, what's been happening is I've been sleeping, and it's directly in front of my bed, and I've been waking up and looking to see what, it's not a person, it looks like, the best I can describe it is distorted body parts. Okay, I think I know how to explain it. So the first night, it was like distorted body parts. It was like just murdered body parts, like chilling. But last night I had the weirdest one because I went to bed on the phone with RONIN. Went to bed and he passed out, I passed out. We fell asleep relatively early. Usually after a little bit the phones will just hang up, you know, like a couple hours later they'll just hang up or their call will drop or whatever. It's not uncommon, it happens to us all the time. Like maybe an hour later after being asleep, I open my eyes and see what kind of looks like a morphing figure, misty. It's like a black mass, and it's like, it doesn't have a shape. It's like morphing, it's like misting, it's like maybe this big, and it's floating, like floating by my plants. This one actually genuinely freaked me out because I came to, and then as soon as I came to, the phone hung up. Music, I have a radio down here that has Bluetooth that I'm usually connected to, and I listen to music when I go to sleep, talking to Ronin on the phone. So it hung up, and then the music on my radio started playing. Okay, but it started playing like louder and louder and louder. It just started getting really loud. And then so I paused the music, and then I called Ronin back, and I was like, hey, and he answered immediately, which sometimes doesn't happen. And I was like, hey, why did you hang up? What happened? And he was like, I didn't hang up, you hung up. And I was like, I wasn't touching my phone. It was sitting right here, didn't hang up, and he didn't hang up. I was like, I just saw the crazy, like the creepiest shit. Like, I'm genuinely scared. I'm usually not scared of when this thing happens, but this one, for some reason, brought me the worst dread, the saddest, scared, negative feeling. We went back to sleep, and then at 4 in the morning, the tornado alarm started going off, and my mom made us to go downstairs and all that, yada yada. Whenever we went downstairs, the whole family is awake because she made us go downstairs for the tornado alarm. I came back upstairs, and I was like standing in my doorway right here, and I was looking where I saw the thing, and I didn't want to come back in my room. I immediately, this never happens in my room, I immediately am dreading being in here. Like, I immediately notice that my room is filled with heavy negative energy. You know, it's 4 in the morning, so I just push through, I lay down, and I go back to bed. And then I wake up the next morning, and like I still kind of feel the energy, but not so much anymore. And then I came home this evening, threw open the curtains and letting all this wonderful, beautiful light in, and I burned some sage. I even told Ronin, I was like, I need to burn some sage when I get home because my room feels like it's so full of negative energy right now from whatever happened last night. And that's that. That's kind of how sleep paralysis and night terrors work. Sleep paralysis, most people will experience like a crushing sensation on their chest. They'll wake up and then they'll imagine, because you're still in a dream state, whether or not it's scientific or spiritual. I am like I'm really on the scales about it. Every time I experience a sleep paralysis state and see something, I don't think it's paranormal. Some people will experience while they are laying down on their back, which a lot of people will be like, and I never sleep on my back, but I was on my back and I couldn't breathe, I couldn't move, I couldn't scream, I couldn't talk, I couldn't do anything, and there was something sitting on my chest. I don't know, I feel like those are real. For me, the explanation for that is that it's a negative energy, being an energy vampire and eating your energy. That's what I think it is. Really excited to talk about the shadow people in the next video. I think that's it for this one. I just wanted to tell you guys how my nights have been going, and let anyone know who has sleep paralysis and night terrors that, boy, you ain't alone, and it sucks and it's scary, but there are things you can do to help, like talk about it and go to therapy. I don't know, that's what I do. I'm recording a video about it. It helps. Don't forget that if you want to make a donation to Teresa, links will be down below. I love you guys. Give me a like and a subscribe, and see you next time. Deuces.